A supernatural horror film that will give spectators around the world shivers made its debut in 2018. The Sylvain and David Birke-written and directed movie Slender Man will make you wonder about the nature of reality itself. What was the movie all about? Who is the Slender Man? What did he do? The horror movie Slender Man digs deeply into the world of internet fiction, where the boundaries between fact and fantasy are blurred and the most terrifying nightmares of the mind are brought to life. The movie's teenage girls unknowingly unlock a door to an uncontrollable world of dread as they become more and more enamored with the Slender Man myth. The darkness and fear of the story drew viewers into a world where truth and fantasy were mixed, and the Slender Man chased his prey with an unquenchable appetite for blood. The film masterfully combines tension, horror, and otherworldly thrills, luring you ever increasingly into a terrifyingly unknown world. The film delves into the paranormal, introducing us to a faceless person that haunts our worst nightmares and deepest anxieties. The Slender Man was a malevolent force that had the power to sabotage reality itself and make our lives into a constant nightmare. With his gaunt appearance, long limbs, and featureless face, the Slender Man is a terrifying invention. He stalks his target softly and persistently, appearing to move with an uncanny grace. His whole presence is oppressive, as though he were a nefarious force out to draw his victims into a pit of gloom. The story starts with the presence of four friends, Ren, Hallie Knudsen, Chloe, and Katie Jensen, in a small Massachusetts town, summoning the Slender Man. After Katie goes missing a week later, the other three girls visit her home in search of leads. The three learn that Katie had been active in the occult and had communicated online with a girl who provided instructions on how to get in touch with Slender Man. Katie wanted the Slender Man to abduct her because she was miserable living alone herself with her alcoholic father. The three females decide to get in touch with the Slender Man after speaking to the same girl Katie had, hoping to gain Katie back in exchange for something they both love. Chloe presents a photo of herself and her father before his death, while Ren brings some handmade ceramics. Holly also brings Lizzie's grandmother's blanket. Holly and Chloe are making contact with the Slender Man when Ren, who has studied Slender Man legend, cautions them not to open their eyes for fear of dying or going insane. When Chloe opens her eyes in a fright, she sees the Slender Man standing before her. She lost all her senses, and later Chloe is driven insane when the Slender Man breaks into her home. The girls start to have nightmares and hallucinations, each one scarier than the previous as they become more and more fixated on the Slender Man. They notice the Slender Man lurking in the shadows and keeping an indifferent eye on them. They can hear his voice in their ears, pleading with them to commit heinous acts. However, the terror doesn't stop there. The ladies turn against one another as the Slender Man starts to take control of their thoughts, their once solid friendships disintegrating under the weight of their shared horror. As they try to comprehend the tragedy that has consumed them, they grow lonely, paranoid, and deluded. In Slender Man, a group of pals unintentionally release a dark force that starts to consume them from the inside out. As they learn more about the legend of the Slender Man, they grow fixated on him and obsessively investigate his history and the shadows that envelop him. He starts to emerge from the shadows as they continue to watch the video that called him, watching him with heartless, emotionless eyes. The Slender Man, with his long arms outstretched and ready to seize them and drag them into the shadows, frequently appears in their dreams. While Hallie tries in vain to move on, Ren, who is experiencing terrifying visions, searches for a solution. Soon after, Hallie's younger sister Lizzie experiences a severe panic attack and is taken to the hospital where she is put to sleep. With Lizzie's assistance, Hallie learns that Ren had tried to make contact with the Slender Man once more. The girls become more and more conscious of the Slender Man's presence as they look into the disappearances of kids in their town. They experience a chilly, frigid wind blowing through their dwellings, hear whispering throughout the night, and see weird patterns inscribed onto the walls. They are unable to withstand the pull of the Slender Man's influence, and despite their mounting anxiety, they are drawn further and nearer to him. He begins to shadow them as they work to learn the reason for his existence, his presence serving as a continual reminder of the peril they are in. The Slender Man seems to be everywhere, his influence contaminating those around him like a virus. In their panic and desperation, the females turn on one another and become more suspicious. They start to recognize the Slender Man in every shadow and hear his voice in every murmur until his darkness engulfs them. The girls come to the realization that the only way to beat the Slender Man is to face their innermost fears and solve the riddle of his creation as they strive to escape the Slender Man's hold. However, the Slender Man gains strength with each step they take, leaving a path of devastation in his wake. The girls are imprisoned in a nightmare from which there is no way out as Slender Man's finale draws near. They are out of time as the Slender Man and his henchmen are closing in on them from every angle. With each of the girls fighting to maintain their sanity in the face of the terror that surrounds them, the girls' previously solid friendship has become shattered and unstable. If they are to survive, they must work together, but the evil that has engulfed them threatens to split them apart. The Slender Man is there, watching them from every nook and cranny of the room with his dead, cold eyes. His faceless body is a chilling reminder of the evil that is all about them as his long, thin arms stretch out to grab them. Soon, Ren is questioned by Hallie about her sibling. Hallie is informed by Ren that Slender Man solely wants the girls and won't stop until he has them. The sacrifices they made for him were insufficient, Ren claims. Ren is captured by Slender Man while being covered in tree branches after the window suddenly bursts. With no other option, Hallie decides to give herself to the Slender Man in order to save her sister Lizzie. The girls ultimately engaged in a tense last confrontation with the Slender Man and his henchmen. The sisters were engaged in a battle to the death, exerting every ounce of their power and bravery to escape the darkness that had engulfed them. Still, Hallie had to lose her life. The Slender Man took away what he wanted, and his quench for more blood did not stop despite taking the lives of many. Did you know that in terms of box office success, Slender Man was a modest success, grossing over $51 million worldwide on a budget of $10 million? Moving further, let us tell you that the movie was loosely based on the 2014 stabbing of a young girl by two of her friends, who claimed to have been influenced by the Slender Man myth. Anissa Weier and Morgan Geyser, two 12-year-old girls from Waukesha, Wisconsin, led their classmate Peyton Leutner into a forest on May 31, 2014, where they fatally stabbed her 19 times in an effort to please the fictitious figure Slender Man. Leutner survived 6 days in the hospital after crawling to a road where she was discovered. Two of the wounds were to significant organs. One narrowly missed cutting into her liver and stomach, while the other pierced through her diaphragm and narrowly missed a major artery of her heart. Leutner was instructed to lay down while Weier and Geyser sought assistance, but after they left, they received none. Leutner then dragged herself to a nearby road where a cyclist discovered her. When the cyclist spotted her, he immediately dialed 911 and took her to the hospital.